Hey everybody, this is Yarince Pascual Mateo, your host here at Espera Que. Welcome back everybody to Espera Que. Hope y'all had a wonderful May. Now we are in our wonderful Pride month of June. So all my queer folk, thank you for supporting the show and have a great Pride month. And all for the butthurt losers who are listening. No, it is not Military Appreciation Month. That was in May. You should have been celebrating about that last time. Stop bitching. You're not the center of the universe. Other than that, we had an eventful couple of days. I believe this is June 4th. So, June 4th recording, but we're going to be releasing this next week on June 12th. So, yeah, it's been a interesting May, and I know for a fact when we come back after next week for next recording sessions, it's going to be another couple annoying weeks. But let's hold in there with this whole entire bullshit timeline we are in. Which, starting off with bullshit, we have Trump's big beautiful bill, or what most people call it, a big bullshit bill. It is a huge omnibus bill that. If you don't know how the U.S. government or Congress works, whenever they want to pass laws and stuff, they create bills. Bills pretty much have all the laws they want to put it in there. Then they vote it inside the House or Senate, wherever it starts, and then they pass it on to the other chamber. And then if they have to do revisions, vote on it, and then send it back to check it. If everybody likes it, sends it to the president's desk, and bam. They're doing a huge bill to pretty much do whatever Trump wants to do, and it's just wild. First, they're going to continue the tax cuts from Trump's first presidency, where he gave a bunch of tax cuts to the rich, added a few trillion into the deficit, and just they're going to keep that going now. And then they also have other tax cuts for businesses and tips and for retirements and seniors. And I'm like, yay, but that's crumbs, because the big issue here is the U.S. government is losing like billions of dollars of tax revenue and just letting the rich people get away with this stuff. Like, that is ridiculous. Yay, we get crumbs, we get less taxes on other things. We're still going to be hit a lot with taxes and tariffs and higher prices and inflation. Those extra tax tips ain't going to cover shit. But the rich, they get away scot-free because they don't have to pay the millions they can easily give away. They easily give it away for the most mundane and stupidest shit. Like, billionaires would buy whole entire new engines for their yachts, or just scrap the whole entire $2 million yacht they have and buy another $300 million yacht, and it won't hurt them. So them paying their fair shares in taxes, not cool. It's just ridiculous. Other than that, they're going to add a work requirement for food assistance and Medicaid, which is just wild. Which, here's the thing, and a lot of people who don't have empathy and can't put themselves in other people's shoes, they assume that those people are on there are just lazy and can't do stuff. But here's the real thing: in the real world, life isn't perfect. Life isn't sunflowers and like sunshine and rainbows. A lot of people are born in situations where they don't have the support to be able to get the good jobs. They don't live in a community that has the resources for them. They might be in rural areas where it's hard to find a good paying job, and the nearest grocery store is like 30 minutes away. These people are just hardworking Americans like every single one of us, and they're just adding more paperwork and more bullshit to scare off or just kick out people out of the programs so they don't have to spend money. That's how they're going to get those, be able to recoup or whatever lies of recouping they can get from the tax cuts to the rich by cutting out safety nets for us. For Medicaid, they're adding a work requirement for able-bodied people to be working over 20 hours. Here's the thing. Even if you're able-bodied, there are still conditions that in your head, inside, all that stuff. Like, not all disabilities are visible. Some of them are your brain trauma, stuff like that. Some of them are like your blood, your heart isn't that strong. Other things, it could be that your muscles are atrophy or bad, or you can't really stand or anything like that. There is thousands of disabilities that people have suffered, genetic or from environmental effects or anything. It ain't their fault. Life just shit on them, or they were just born with that, and it just happens. Why should we force them to work 20 hours a week when they're already most likely working in other things and you're just adding more problems to them? The funny thing is, Trump doesn't do that much work. The man barely does jack. All he does is just do stupid racist rants on interviews, do some little signings inside his office, and then go golfing. Like, you can even tell the difference between 2016 Trump and now Trump. He is literally just same as Biden from the last from 2024, but they're just propping him up and doing all this stuff, and he barely doing any work. And pretty much the most disadvantaged, the people who are most vulnerable, have to do extra work, more work than that piece of shit, just for them to have the safety nets they need to live. It isn't their fault they're in these situations. A lot of times, life happens, and it isn't anyone's fault, but we should help them and help them get back to a place. Because if we want a strong country, all of us at the same level, all of us getting the help we need, all of us working together will get us there. But making the most vulnerable suffer just for the rich to have more money, all that does is cause more pain and suffering. Like, it's pretty obvious. Other than that, let's see. No taxes on gun silencers and no money on Planned Parenthood. I don't understand the gun silencers. Why do we care? Truthfully, why would anyone even want to buy a silencer? Like, what's the point? Unless you're doing military things or stuff like that. If you're a silencer isn't in the movies where it's like a little mouse sneeze. It is still very loud. It's just not loud enough to blow your eardrums when you're inside an enclosed space. So that's dumb. And then Planned Parenthood is obvious. They just hate abortion, and they think Planned Parenthood is only abortion when literally it is all sexual and reproductive health and family planning, like making sure that people get tested for STIs and STDs, making sure people have the knowledge and information about sex and relationships and family planning, making sure people have the healthcare they need when going through pregnancy and stuff like that. It is a place to help people through sexual and reproductive situations. Our government should not be in this situation, and all of them are just being babies. Well, no, ghouls to be more exact, because all of this is just, I don't know, it's just abortion bad, control women. They lost the plot in the 80s when they decided to just trick the evangelical Christians to think abortions is this hill they want to die on, and now all political action is going to be behind that banner, which allowed them to have Roe versus Wade repealed, and now we had women used as fucking incubators while they're dead for a 9 weeks baby. That baby won't even be viable after it has been incubated in its own dead mother. You are ghouls. Genuine ghouls. One thing you could say is the MAGA Kids $1,000 savings account, which is some Trump MAGA accounts that for children that were born between January 1st, 2024 to December 2028, they get $1,000 for when they're born, that's crumbs. Genuine crumbs. You're giving the rich billions of dollars, but children just born in this small little section of years get $1,000. Why not just put money in education? Why not give them free healthcare? Why not just treat them as human beings? Is like, when it comes to these types of people, they only care up to when you're born. After that, go fuck yourself. Other than that, they're going to add more funding to his mass deportation plans, which, again, he's trying to mass deport like millions of people. You can't do that peacefully. You can't do that non-violently. And they have shown they aren't even doing it the right way because they are disappearing people. Deportation is a legal process. They're just throwing people into death camps. So they're just going to add like $4 billion more to hire additional Border Patrol agents so they can just be horrible dicks and just continue to push this horrible agenda. 5,000 new custom officers, 2.1 billion for signing and retention bonuses to get them on there. So you're not going to get the best of the brightest. You're just going to get people who want money and want power to abuse others. Yeah, that's how it's going to go. Like, you're not going to get the best of the best, buddy. You're going to get some of the most some people who think this is an easy paycheck and they can do whatever they want because fun fact, I believe it is 30 miles. It's some 30 to 40 or 50 miles from any border of the United States. These motherfuckers can violate your rights. They can detain you. They can take your ID. They can do whatever the fuck they want because they are at the border. And this country's history of hating anyone who didn't come here to mass murder all the natives or praise their white supremacy, well, you got to put them in check. So this is just old era U.S. Horrible xenophobic U.S. laws just coming into the modern time and just being supercharged and just it gets worse. It just gets worse. I know immigration is getting bad, and I'm hoping this next 4 years will be going well, but I'm not going to lie. We need to keep our eyes open. This is wild. Next, Trump is throwing $150 billion to the Defense Department and national security, and will provide $25 billion for his Golden Dome of America, which... so if you don't know, Israel has the Iron Dome. The United States built it for them because, you know, our little problem child in the Middle East attacks everyone else and they need to have a little crib around them to make sure whenever they don't have to suffer consequences. Yeah, the United States is huge. Like, really, really, really huge. And I'm not gonna lie, we have so many military outposts and air bases and missile launchers and ships and submarines that we can take out most missiles before they're a problem. So this is just a vanity project where Trump, I genuinely believe, thinks we're gonna put a golden dome around America that will so surely protect us from a rocket and not just shatter and fall upon us. So, yeah. So they're going to do some overhauling for student loans. So they're just going to play around with that thing, even though they're shuttering the Department of Education, which was in charge of all that student loan stuff. So they're going to either find a way to make it worse, or I don't know. I hope they mess it up that we get it for free, but you can only wish once. And lastly, just destroy our federal public lands and stuff for more drilling and mining, which, okay, yes, it would be good to have all these resources, but here's the thing. We kind of need our environment, because if our environment goes down, if we have toxic waste around us, if all the animals are dying, if all the plants are going away, because we're just strip mining for ores and stuff like that, ores like nickel, or I believe there's like a giant nickel deposit in Yellowstone. There's a huge metal deposit there. There's oil in Alaskan wilds and stuff like that. Buddy, it ain't worth it. It is not worth it. This is the only Earth we have. This is the only America we have. This is the only land that is called the United States of America that we have. If we strip mine it to its bare bones, we're all going to suffer, and all the rich people who got away with it would go to some other country to do the same. Because here's the thing. Yes, we were able to get ourselves out of the food chain, but we're still part of the environment. We're still living among these animals. We still live off of these trees that give us air. We still eat off of these plants that give us food. We still eat off of these animals that are either grazed for us or we hunt for ourselves. We still rely on this environment. And if we're going to strip mine, put in toxic waste, and destroy this environment, all of us are going to suffer, because animals are going to get sick and die, and we will have poison toxic food. Our water supplies will be contaminated, and it will make it hard for us to drink. You saw what happened in Flint. There's multiple places in the Midwest where they were doing fracking, and their water supplies are literal flammable. They literally put a lighter next to the water, and it lights up. It is bad. And the economy will go down because people will get sick. A lot of people will get sick. Cancer is going to be on the rise because of this. We have seen it in multiple places where they are the unlucky victims of being the runoff of factories or mining construction or anything like that. They get cancer and a lot of horrible health defects, which will make it hard for them to work and will pretty much hurt the economy because pretty much the economy relies on workers, not on the billionaires, not on the CEOs, but on the people building and doing and creating the products. Well, thank you everybody for listening to Espera Que. Thank you for being here for me. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. I hope you are listening to us here in any of our major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and hey, let's survive this 2025.
Bye, y'all.
Hello, everybody. This is your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo of the show Espera Que. We're going to have a long, crazy year when the orange shit saint comes back in office. So let's do this, guys.
Hey, everyone. This is Christian and Jenny from the Coffee and Pandusi show. We hope you're enjoying Espera Que with Yarince. It's a great show. Also, I want to remind you to join our show as well, Coffee and Pandusi, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock on your favorite podcast platform, and Jenny's show, Two Queers in a Truck.
Absolutely.
Every Wednesday at 11:30.
2025 is our 2025. If I can get it out right without sounding like I'm we've got two wonderful shows that have joined the family of shows that we've done for 6 to 8 seasons. Yeah. And Yarince is a wonderful host, who's a wonderful guest host with coffee. And a wonderful young man with a lot of great vision and insight. Looking forward to seeing his episodes flourish. And as always, thanks for listening. Otherwise, Christian and I would be just talking to ourselves.
That's right, and we do.
We do. Doesn't keep us from doing that now.
That's right. Enjoy the show, y'all. Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our show. Listening if you're on our major podcast platforms on Spotify and Apple. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. Thank you so much for enjoying hearing my annoying voice, and hope you'll have a wonderful 2025. It's going to be a long one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Hey, everybody. This is Yarince Pascual Mateo, your host of Espera Que. Well, I hope y'all are having a good start of your 2025 because we're going to have a fun, long year listening to the news. It also will just make life suck. So I'm not going to lie. This big bullshit bill will not go well for us. Right now, timelines dating on June 4th, we know that it passed the House by pretty much all Republican votes. The Democrats needed just 2 to go over it, but you know how it is. It's just dumb. And then now it's in Senate, but there is a little bit of friction because, fun fact, there's other things. I would believe the EV tax cuts that pissed off Elon, or the other, I believe it was states' rights issues that MTG was complaining about on Twitter, which she just outwardly and proudly just said that she did not read the bill, and if she did read it, she would have not voted on it, acting like that is some brownie points, but that all just shows is that you will literally blindly follow whatever Daddy Trump does. It is just so obvious. It was about states AI. Yes, states cannot regulate AI for the next 10 years, which, holy shit, that's a bad thing to do. That's a very bad thing to do because of the rise of a lot of AI videos, AI pictures, doctored information, the horrible news, AI news making. AI is getting rampant. The genie's out of the bottle, and either we learn how to control this genie before it destroys us. Because I'm not saying that there's going to be a Terminator situation. I'm just saying there's going to be a impossible mission, death reckoning situation. If you've seen the movie, there was an AI who has the ability to literally rewrite everything on the fly. Yeah, we're going to get to that point. But the thing is, it isn't some smart AI. It is literal dangerous and horrible groups just falsifying evidence and framing people. So we should regulate it. But it's got in that big bullshit bill, and now there is some buyer's remorse in some of the Republicans, which truthfully they came either to that conclusion, they most likely came to that conclusion when they were yelled by their constituents when they were sick and tired of hearing their bullshit excuses for not reading the damn bill, which is another issue about this whole bullshit bill. A lot of Republicans are lock in step in joining on these stupid, crazy ideas without any knowledge. They're just blindly following orders, and that's very dangerous. I hope in the Senate there might be some spines in there, and maybe they will shut it down. But if it does pass through the Senate, it will be passed into the House, so they can add the bill they can vote on the bill for the new edits they added, and then if that goes well and they vote, send it to the Senate to make sure they agree with it as well. If they made any new changes as well, and then to Trump when everybody is in agreement, which, God, this is going to be a pain. Either way, this bill is just bad. The only silver lining out of this is just that Elon Musk, after his horrible little breakup with Trump, after he had to leave before his 130-day special status as being a government worker, kind of went away, since pretty much everybody despised Doge and how it literally ripped up our government for the copper wiring. Like, they did not save any money. They keep on saying they saved trillions. They did not even save a few a billion. Like, it's literally cents to the $2.4 trillion they're going to put into the deficit with this bill. But Elon, being the little narcissistic baby who needs to be loved all the time, noticing that no one liked him being in the politics for, being a Nazi son of a bitch, saying the most outrageous shit, peddling his Teslas and Cybertrucks on the White House, pretty much ruining a lot of people's lives and jobs by firing them for no fucking reason. And he's going against Trump, which I would say in my beginning episodes, this is expected. When it comes to fascists, they hate each other a lot and they will eat each other up all the time. I was waiting for Elon to break apart from Trump and start talking shit about him just to hope so he can gain some goodwill, but that ship has sailed. You have sold all that goodwill during the inauguration when you did a double Sieg Heil. You kind of lost that smoke screen from most of the normies. The only people who follow you are literally just deranged, delusional people who genuinely do not want to look at reality, because that's the only way you can like a man like Elon Musk, if you just put your head in a hole and not listen to anything he has done or said. Because I don't hate him because he's white. I don't hate him because he's a billionaire. Well, I do hate him because of that. He's a hoarding little son of a bitch. But the biggest reason I hate him is because of the words he saying racist, derogatory shit, calling people names because they call them out for being stupid, supporting white nationalists and horrible ideas. And his actions, putting his Grok supercomputer in a impoverished Tennessee district that is already fucked over by all the other industrial stuff, but now they have a supercomputer draining all their water and electricity and dumping out a bunch of sludge and soot into the air, making things worse. They already had a life expectancy of 40 years. Let's make it 10 years less. So, yeah, he's a piece of shit. And it's pathetic and embarrassing how he's going on a Twitter storm about how Trump is wrong and these people are traitors of the country, which I know America has the little the sad reputation of having short memories, but I'm not gonna lie, you've done too much fucked up shit, and you're not American, you're a South African, the one of the worst types of South African Africans. So it's kind of hard to forget how shitty you are. But all I can say is coming up to this break is this big bullshit bill is going to be a pain in the ass. I hope it's the same as how the Republicans in the first Trump term kind of just shat their pants in front of everybody with the Medicaid or Medicare repeal during Trump's first office, and this again will be just one of these other huge embarrassments of the Trump presidency of how horrible he is as a leader, but how he is blatantly going against the Constitution. I wouldn't be surprised if he did something to get it through. Okay, now we're gonna go on break and see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. So other bullshit things that are happening on the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, which that is, I should not have said it, on the Palestinian genocide, that to be more exact. Here at home in the United States, I would say there was disgustingly a terror attack against a couple, and it was anti-Semitic. That was a total anti-Semitic attack. It was in Boulder, Colorado. It was a bunch of Jewish people. Well, I can just assume everyone is Jewish, but a bunch of people peacefully demonstrating and rallying support for the hostages in Gaza, which y'all should already know my thing. This is a genocide. They are bombing. They're mass murdering things. Hamas is not my friend. They're bad. They're just as horrible as the Israelis. The thing is, they were created because of the IDF's constant mass murdering and disappearing of innocent people. When you mass murder and commit genocide against a group of people, some of them will be radicalized and been tricked into going and being violent towards you back. But the hostages from October 7th, during the attack, they were rallying. It was people getting support, but this idiot with Molotov cocktails yelling "Free Palestine" was throwing flame balls at them and just lighting people on fire. Luckily, no one is dead, which burning alive is a horrible and painful death. So they got horrible burns, and I hope that they get the healing they need. Some people were airflown, taken out by airlift, and also there was a few criticals. It's just that it is just dumb. Luckily, the suspect was captured and taken, but unluckily, and it's the most annoying thing about this current time is that he was an illegal immigrant from Egypt, and well, his family's pretty much likely deported because of this, and he just set back a lot of support for Palestinians because of this stupid attack. Because I'm not going to lie, we should demonstrate, we should call out, and I'm not going to lie, we should be violent for a lot of these violent oppressors, but they weren't violent. They were peacefully demonstrating, and they were hoping for the hostages. They're not praising IDF soldiers. The hostages, the people who were taken and need to be returned to their homes. Yeah, they're Israelis, not an excuse. They're victims too. They were kidnapped from their homes, saw people they love die, and were taken by a terrorist organization. It wasn't the Palestinians who did that. It was Hamas. That's the huge distinction. Hamas is a terrorist group. Palestinians are just a group of people that live in Palestine. That you gotta understand this differentiation, because I'm not gonna assume all white Americans are Klan members. That's idiotic. No, so we should be able to give them that same support. Oh, but they voted for the Hamas. Most of the people they mass murder weren't even alive to vote for Hamas. And second of all, in the United States, they voted for the KKK. Should we just start bombing all? Should we start bombing all white neighborhoods if the KKK decides to mass murder a black neighborhood? Should we do that? No, that's idiotic. That's stupid. That's cruel. That's evil. That's what's happening in Palestine. And because of this hate and horrible things, it breeds more hate. And now we have idiots who throw Molotov cocktails at fucking Jewish people just doing their shit and just rallying support for people that they might have family members who are related to this, or they just care about them, or yeah, they might be Zionists, which again, hate Zionism, disgusting, horrible shit like that. But unless they are being violent to me, I'm not going to be nice to them, but I'm not going to put my hands on them because that's not right. They're not putting their hands on me. They're not violently murdering anyone in front of me. There's no point for it. I'm going to give them a lashing if they start saying stupid shit, but I'm not putting my hands on them. And this guy does this, and this is going to be a domino effect because in this United States, being mean to Israel is apparently deemed as anti-Semitic, which is stupid. That is very, very, very stupid. Like, that is saying that if you don't like the NAACP, you just hate black people, which, yeah, there is some hateful bigots who hates that organization because they hate black people, but there are some things to not like about that organization because they do mistakes. They do stupid shit. There's a differentiation. There's a massive differentiation, and you can't just go and violently attack people. It's better just to communicate and talk to them. If they can't be reached to, ignore them. If they try to push your buttons, put them down. If they get violent to you, put them down. But if they ain't doing shit, they're just minding their own damn business over there, don't start shit. Because if you start shit, you're going to be seen as the aggressor. And because he threw Molotov cocktails at innocent people just over there rallying to support innocent people who were kidnapped, you're going to be seen as the aggressor. For watching Espera Que with Yarince Pascual Mateo. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Having a good time. Hope you're listening in Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, anywhere where you can find your podcast. And happy Pride Month, and be safe. Have a good time. Enjoy the summer if you can, and fuck fascists. Hey everybody, thank you so much for being at our show today. I hope you had fun watching it on YouTube or listening to it on Spotify or in any major podcast platforms. Thank you for listening to our show. I am your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo, and I hope you'll have a wonderful 2025, because it's going to be a long one. Hello everybody, this is your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo of the show Espera Que. We're going to have a long, crazy year.